When we recycle, we use less of the Earth's natural resources. So if you think about every time you use a piece of paper, every time you use plastic, that's come from somewhere, and often that is from a raw material that's been either dug up from the earth or mined or manufactured in a factory.
Recycling in Central Bedfordshire is a fantastic success story, and we want to say thank you to all of our residents. 46.1% of all your waste is recycled, but we know we can do a lot better. We've recently done a composition study of what goes in the black bin, and we found that 70% of those items could actually be recycled.
By recycling, you're not only keeping materials in use for longer, but also you're stopping natural resources from being used unnecessarily. We need to be thinking about recycling as a point of sustainability in our own lifestyles, but also thinking about how can I reduce my waste? How can I not contribute to this and produce as much in the first place? So you're talking about looking at reducing the amount of things that you buy in plastic packaging. So going to the supermarket, buying fruit loose rather than buying it in packaging. And it's really simple wins like that that eventually can just become habits. Just thinking about, what do we do with our clothes? Do we keep buying from these fast fashion brands, or do we think, okay, I'm going to invest in a piece that I can wear for longer?
If you can recycle or reuse your product, what that means is the carbon footprint of the manufacturing, the transportation, the distribution of that product is reduced. We need to change how manufacturers produce things, and we can do that through Pest Power. Central Bedfordshire Council provides a number of different services for our residents. It's everything from your curbside collection of your black bin waste, your dry recyclates, food waste recycling, which is very important.
You've also got our household waste recycling centres, or tidy tips, and they accept a much wider variety of items. So you can take things like hard plastic, so that's stuff like garden furniture, children's toys, and that all can get recycled as well. And we also accept metal.
Your black bin waste, it doesn't go to landfill. We put it through an energy from waste centre. So basically we turn that waste into energy.
Also curbside, we have a textiles, small electricals and batteries collections. So what you can do is you can put them in a clear plastic bag or carrier bag and put them either on top of your bin or next to your bin. binbetter campaign has kind of come out of speaking to our residents and trying to understand what is it that's preventing them from recycling or doing as much as they want to be doing recycling-wise. And a lot of it is just around knowledge and information.
My husband and I have a discussion as to whether this will recycle or whether it won't. If I put it in the bin, he will start rummaging and saying, you can't put that in because that one item can contaminate it all.
They're not sure what to put into which bin because there's just so many different types of recyclable and non-recyclable products. So we've set up a website, centralbedfordshire.gov.uk/waste, and you can go on to there and we show you what can go into your bin and what can't.
An aerosol spray, I had no idea I could put that in the recycle.
Coffee cups are one of those items that people often get quite confused with. They often think they can be recycled, but actually they can't. They're called a composite material, so they're made of lots of different items, which is essentially really difficult to recycle and can't be recycled curbside. Some cafes are swapping them over for biodegradable or compostable coffee cups, which again, can't really be recycled through any of the processes that we have, and they're really difficult to manage. So the best option is to do a sustainable swap and take your reusable coffee cup to your cafe or your restaurant.
Before I would recycle things that I'd be a little bit unclear about, I would look for the recycling sign on the object.
What we buy has an impact on the environment. So if we can get people to reuse things, rather than actually put them back into the supply chain, remanufacture, etc., we take a load of energy out of society and it's better for the environment.
We have a reuse shop at one of our household waste recycling centres in Houghton Regis. And we always recommend that if you're having a house clear out, if you've got a piece of furniture you don't want anymore, then you can always take it to our reuse shop.
Reuse is better than recycling. So as you bring things into our 4 household waste recycling sites, we'll have a look at some of those, things like bikes, CDs, golf clubs, a multitude of other things that we think actually they could be reused. Somebody might get a benefit out of those.
We offer food waste collection service to all houses in Central Bedfordshire, and as part of that you get a little caddy to put in your kitchen with some liners, which then can be transferred into a bigger bin which is lockable. And the benefit of it being lockable is that it deters any sort of vermin or rodents from getting into it, which means that you can put things in like meat or bones or cooked food. But you can also put things in like fruit and vegetable peelings, leftover food if there is any. We send all of our food waste from our curbside collections to something called an anaerobic digestion plant, where essentially it's turned into energy and agricultural fertiliser. The average UK household spends around £700 a year on food that ends up being wasted. So the way that we can kind of minimise that is thinking about making a shopping list when you're going shopping, making sure you go through your fridge before you go to a shop to see what you've already got so you don't buy duplicates. And when you're actually going shopping, it's trying not to be tempted by those buy one get one free offers, because actually they end up being things we don't end up using, and you're spending money on something that you won't use, you won't eat, and it will be wasted. So it's bad for your pocket but also for the environment.
We know in Central Bedfordshire that we've got hundreds of people out there who are so passionate about recycling, and we want to engage with those people and actually get them to help us to educate everybody else. So if you've got a passion to recycle and you'd like to get more people helping to recycle, we want to hear from you. You can go onto our website, engage with us, and maybe you can help be an advocate in your community. You can be a bin it champion for Central Bedfordshire.